Paska. Paska. Piru paska.
Paska. Welcome back to Cream Crew. Sorry we missed you last week. We've just been a bunch of busy beavers building our dams, right, guys?
It's true. My dam is depleted and crumbling.
Depleted and crumbling.
What was that, Tom? What's wrong with your dam?
I don't know. I just said the first thing that came into my head.
Because you've been in Finland, that's why.
It's true. The log capital of the world, ironically enough.
I look at, that is ironic.
I made it up. I don't know if that's true.
That's absolutely true. That's going to be a fact from now on
Okay.
Earth. I imagine in Finland, and this is an American ignorance, so I apologize, but is there actually anyone in Finland? Like how when you went to Finland, did you see more than 50 people?
Surprisingly, I was having the same thoughts, but it seemed like there was people everywhere and everything was always being like renovated and like made better. And I'm like, how do you have the population to sustain this? What future generations are you making this better for? Because they don't exist.
Yeah, there's like a new McDonald's building, and you're like, why are you even updating it from the old one? Like, why do you need to update that?
When I think of Finland, I imagine like kind of Europeanized yurts and just a bunch of blonde people standing around getting blasted by the wind.
I literally, the entire time I pictured it, I thought of the movie The Holiday, which is one of my favorite rom-coms.
I thought of Hostel.
That's a good one too. That's a good one too. Every building is just an empty, wet cellar with men with like plastic aprons on, walking around cutting people's Achilles tendons. But I imagine in Finland, Tom, that it was like a cute little cottage town, and there's like cobblestone, like little walls and alleyways and stuff, and people wear wool sweaters and with wool scarves. And there's like a kind of a bakery with like the bread out on a table in front of the bakery. Is any of that true?
Well, weirdly enough, it is. I guess it is interesting that we all have this perception of this like dirt farm with people whose eyes are too far apart.
It's like that painting of the farmers. You know what I'm talking about?
The American Gothic.
Yeah.
Yes, but in reality, it seems more like Japan for white people. That was my takeaway. Everything is like.
Oh, so it's a land of innovation. It's like clean and technology based.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Japan in terms of like there's so many neon lights everywhere. It's making everyone squint. It's more like high quality everything. Everything is super nicely built. I know it's weird. Dude, here's the thing though. Here's the fucking thing. This is the part that really like annoys me. When I go through London Heathrow, all of the like people who work at that airport are just disgusting. The most disgusting people you've ever seen in your life. When you go through so Helsinki,
I thought Finnish.
That's a little first impression.
I'm thinking of Swedish women.
The reading committee for the UK.
Like Swedish people are supposed to be the genetically pure ones. So I imagine in my mind's eye, every Finnish is it Finnish?
Yeah,
is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Every Finnish man has like a thick black unibrow. No,
they are literally like 90% blonde. And I'm barely exaggerating. They are all like platinum blonde haired and 6'3", all good looking. Like at McDonald's, it's full of just hot chicks working behind the counters. There's no like dregs of society. That's what I'm saying. Heaven? You go through Helsinki airport and you're like, it's nothing but hot blonde chicks and like
what a 60-year-old well-dressed men.
I know.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it truly is paradise if you're like a socially autistic person who likes blonde women. So there you go.
I do love blonde women. I love blonde women with tiny little titties and a big fat ass. And I know you're the other way. You like pancake ass with big obnoxious boobs.
As I age, the more I realize I will just take anything.
That's true. Beggars cannot be choosers.
It comes in all sizes, and that's fine by me.
Is in Finland, is there any kind of let me see. Is there any Like lore, like are trolls big in Finland? Didn't trolls start like in Finland, like the lore of trolls?
Like trolls and stuff, I think's been through all the kind of North European stuff. But yeah, like trolls is definitely a big one for Finland. The people can, despite being strangely, perfectly attractive, can be trollish in their ways. Like foraging is a big thing there. So you'll literally see like cars that seem to have careened through a fence and parked in the middle of nowhere in a field. And you can assume that person has run into the nearby forest to collect mushrooms like a greedy little goblin. And I shit you not, they're all just like picking blueberries and mushrooms and speaking in silly accents.
See, now you're making me sound like you've had a great time then.
I had a good time. Yeah, I had a good time. It was like, again, it just like felt so like safe, peaceful. Like even in the UK, which is where I am right now, it feels like there's like an undercurrent of potential violence. Just like
yeah. At some point, you will see someone get stabbed or punched. At some point, that's in the air.
Yeah, exactly. And like in Finland, there was just not even an ounce. Like even like they're like dregs of society. They're fucking chavs or they're bad. Whatever. They're just like maybe the police would tell them off for being too loud outside of a nice bakery. That's like the extent of their crimes.
Yeah.
You're being too loud outside the bakery. Just like it's just that's nice. That's fine. Here, I feel like I will get punched in the face at some point.
Yeah, some lurker just walking around the fucking London streets, just swinging, just a crowd of people, just flailing his arms, decking everybody in the face. I actually had a question about England too, Tom.
Yeah.
In America, if you're white trash and you're poor and you don't know how to dress yourself, you go to Men's Warehouse. Is there anything similar like that in England?
Yeah, so Primark is the kind of catch-all place that poor people go and shop, myself included.
No, I guess I mean for suits.
Is more like if you're a gentleman with a job and you need
or you're going to a wedding or something like that.
Oh yeah,
it's like I've never bought a suit before in my life.
You probably go to Topman, like Topman.
So here's my request for you then. If you can go to Topman, could you get something that's like eerily similar to something that you would see in like the late 1800s, early 1900s of England for fucking like a Jack the Ripper look? And then could you just go to London into like some cobblestone thing and do some kind of photo shoot for me?
I will immediately get ironically stabbed to death and my organs taken from my body and delivered to the news bureaus. I would be the prostitute in this scenario. My dinner is being delivered to my hotel, so I gotta go get that. I'm sorry to ruin the flow, but I will be right back.
It's okay. I wonder what he's getting. I'm excited to figure out what he gets.
It's not that exciting.
No. I can't wait to hear it.
Why don't you talk more about what you think Finland must be like?
I bet Finland is a lot like Candyland, is how I see it. The roads are it's like little colored squares.
Windy. Mm-hmm.
Windy colored squares. And you have to roll a giant felt dice. And you get to see how many steps you get to take for the day. And there's little cottages.
No real purpose to any of it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you will get robbed. Mugged, if you stop in Candy Cane Forest. That's the only place in Finland that has any crime whatsoever. Is their Candy Cane Forest? I actually wouldn't be surprised if there was just if I and this is honest to God, if I went to Finland and I saw that there was 40-foot tall candy canes in like a forest, I would not be surprised at all. I would say that's exactly what I thought was going to be here.
Would you be embarrassed to ask where Candy Cane Forest is?
No. I wouldn't be embarrassed. I would say it immediately with my chest. I would immediately just be like, where is it? Where is Candy Cane? Like with enough conviction that I know it's true. Then they'd be like, Candy Cane Forest? Where do you mean? And I'm like, cut the fucking shit. And where's the Candy Cane Forest?
That's a national treasure. It's a landmark. You can't go eating their Candy Cane Forest, licking their trees and stuff.
That or I would
they're going to keep it from you.
In a foolish diabetic rage, I'd walk into the forest and start licking just random trees and catch some kind of weird European virus. Or my American mouth would infect the beautiful sacred land and it would turn all the trees black, like that one episode of Samurai Jack where like the swamp comes up.
Yeah.
That's what my American saliva would do to the Finnish trees.
You think they have actual goblins? Maybe they have,
God, I hope.
Maybe they actually have goblins and they're hiding them from, like, they're kind of a nuisance for the Finnish people, but they also don't want anyone else to know about them.
There's
they can't get any help.
Yeah, there's an actual medieval war raging in Finland, but no one covers it because they're like, it's our battle to fight. You know what I mean? So then they go and they fight them.
Culture, and they're going to ruin it. Everyone's going to ruin it. You know?
I bet you amongst the candy cane forest and all the giant candy canes, there's probably like little dirt wasp nests that the goblins live in and they crawl down into. So it's like, looks like giant wasp nests.
Man, there would be fucking wasps in candy cane forest too.
There absolutely would. And they'd be huge. They'd be red and white. They'd be striped, and that's how they blend in so well. They're giant. They fucking sit on the trees and they come down and suck all the fucking glucose out of your body.
That's just kind of how the world works, man. Like, if you have something really cool like candy cane forest, and then there has to be fucking wasps and goblins amongst it. You know what I mean? You can't just have everywhere on the planet has severe cons if you just wait long enough for them. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, fucking Hawaii just caught on fire. It doesn't seem like that's meant to happen.
I saw a lot of funny comments, and the tragedy in Hawaii. I don't want to make light of that. That is not a joke. The people who lost their lives and the fire that ravaged that land is not to be joked about. But the comments of it were pretty funny, where people said, how is it possible for an island to catch on fire? Can't they just get the water from the ocean and throw it on there? There was a lot of actual heated debates about people being like, that's fucking so like retarded. That's so stupid. And people were just like, and then there was like, I saw pictures of people with like buckets of water by the beach, just being like ready to help Maui and stuff like that. It was a train wreck of a comment section.
I wonder if there must be, to be fair, there must be some kind of apparatus you could make for like a helicopter, you know?
What do you mean?
Just like, you know, it can like fly over here and get another load of water, and then because aren't there like firefighting helicopters where they drop?
Well, it's like a large bucket of water. When I say bucket, it's not just. It would be hilarious to see a resource.
Giant sand bucket with a handle.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing too. Is I don't think that they drop water a lot of the time. I hear that they drop sand a lot of the time.
Like when I
lived in Burbank, the mountains caught fire. Then this is probably like 2017 or something like that. The mountains caught fire there. And I think they poured sand on those mountains, but I don't know if that's also because it's like a dry landscape or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a firefighter because I don't know. All I know is it takes a lot to put out a fire. You know, I don't know. Even though I
think that sand would be heavier. Like sand is probably heavier than water, right? And yeah, if you do have the ocean right there, and you can manufacture a large sandcastle bucket.
How is it possible?
To a helicopter.
Yeah, that you should be able to scoop it. They can just do rounds where they just drive by the ocean, they scoop out water, and then they fly back up. Yeah, it could be a little
like train, you know?
A train of Black Hawk helicopters flying through. Yeah, definitely. You know,
is it still on fire?
I don't fucking know. All I know is I feel like an island of all places should have a pretty dank sprinkler system. You know what I mean? Hooked up straight up to the ocean. If everything had like a really great sprinkler system, they probably could have been like, turn them all on. And they turn them all on and they just start dousing everything.
Right. Like those little hose leads into the ocean.
What's weird too is doesn't it rain like every other day in Hawaii? Like torrential downpours?
Yeah.
How did it survive that?
My mom grew up there, so I've gone there a few times, and it seems like it rains like every other day. So
yeah, but not only does it like rain, it like pours. Like when it rains, it's like fucking heavy, big drops. That's why I'm surprised. It must have been a ferocious fire if it fucking survived that shit.
Hello, are we talking about Maui? We got from Finland all the way to Maui. That was quick.
Well, we were, but now Now, Tom, I want to ask you if you visited Candy Cane Forest in Finland, because we discussed that as well.
Did I visit Candy Cane Forest?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know it's there.
Absolutely. And do you want to know something sick and disgusting about the Finnish people? Is they consider something called salmiakki candy, and it is basically just a big giant lump of salt and licorice mixed together into some hellish abomination that makes you want to vomit violently, and they put it in their fucking ice cream.
That sounds like healthy people candy. You know what I mean?
You say that,
here in the States, everything's made of fucking plastic and like weird chemicals that trick your brain. So when I hear that, I'm like, I bet you that's like not bad for you. Like you could probably gorge yourself on that and be okay.
It is mad to me, like how much I've never seen a more sugar addicted people, and that includes Americans. Like they just fucking constantly hammering the sugar, hammering it.
Oh, really? Well, you have Candy Cane Forest over there. They're raised on it. They don't know no better.
It's true. They do. I'll tell you one thing I don't like, because I've sung the praises so far. Now to get to the good stuff. Just this is just the xenophobic part of my brain. I know it's not right.
Sure.
But
the innocent, cute part of your brain.
the way that foreign people, foreign Europeans especially, this is more a European thing, have like a different interpretation of like things you would think are common, like a cat going meow. You'd be like, okay, cats go meow. But all these European nations have some weird fucking sound that makes no sense. They're like, oh, cat, biru, biru. Like, how the fuck did you get that from a cat meowing? That's
dude.
Bew?
Yeah, biru.
Did you meet a cat? Meow. Maybe they make that sound.
Meow.
Yeah, all the cats in Finland are like, Baska. Baska. Baska.
That would be a fucking amazing house animal. This is my cat. Like Borshkanak. And he's like, Baska. Baska.
I would fucking stroke the shit out of that cat. You know, he wouldn't look quite like a normal cat too. His eyes would be a bit closer together and his head a bit narrower.
The Finnish cats, their faces are bald and they have regular human noses. Baska.
Yeah. Saunas are a big thing over there.
Cats, the way a cat sounds, they imitate their owner, right? So if you have like a whiny voice, you have a whiny cat.
What?
Because they're just
really
because the whole meow thing is just like manipulation to interact with you and get you to respond empathetically with them. So
really? I wonder
feral
what cats sound like.
That's why feral cats sound fucked.
What does a feral cat sound like?
They're just kind of like trying to be tough.
No, do it.
Be a tough cat.
Yeah, do it, Don.
I don't want to.
What does it sound? Just fucking do it. I just wanted to hear what it sounds like.
No, you know what, dude? I'm not doing tricks for you no more. You do your own tricks, Hunter.
Whatever. You're like a bad Discovery Channel, dude. I guess I'll just have to use my fucking imagination to see what a cat sounds like, even though we have the source right here.
I get what you're saying, that cats make meow noises to like mimic a baby's cooing or whatever the fuck, so people pay attention to them. But I don't know if that means they sound like their owner. You know what I mean?
I just don't think a junkyard cat that hasn't seen a human in 4 years wouldn't just meow.
He goes, hello. Hello, mate. Can I interest you in some essential oils?
It's imitating it's imitating trash.
It just sounds like glass bottles smashing and fucking the slow decay of apple cores.
Yeah, just like crumbling paper and glass breaking. Oh, it's purring.
But yeah, I had a pretty okay time in Finland. I went to lakes. They love lakes.
I'll tell you what though.
Huh?
I don't envy the flight. Was the flight brutal or was it all right?
It was pretty shit. So it's like 12 hours from US to Finland. It's like 12 hours from US to England, and then we had to wait 3 hours to get the flight from England to Finland, and that's another 3 hours. So all in all, it was like 24 hours almost of traveling with everything.
Yeah, it was like a full day. Fuck.
It was savage. And I didn't sleep because I can't on a plane. I can't have my Darth Vader apparatus either.
Yeah. I'm just choking on the plane.
Yeah, it took so long because we kept having to make emergency stops at nearby airports en route.
Having to fly into like France.
Hey, every
time you land,
don't make fun of it.
Every time you land, you like dive out the fucking tunnel and like go to an outlet and plug in your CPAP machine.
I fucking you're not actually wrong, because when we landed in London, in Heathrow they do these like fucking basically holes in the walls that are like day hotels that you can go and sleep in whilst you wait for your connecting flight. And I did immediately go crawl into this fucking dark literally windowless crevice, plug in my fucking CPAP machine, just
right outside of Cinnabon.
Yeah, it was okay.
Was the air? I mean, I don't know. This is the other thing. Is the air in Finland? Is it just beautiful? Is it very clean, and is it just pure?
Yeah, I mean, it's
air quality.
It's way less obviously saturated with pollutants because there's way less people, and we were kind of in the boonies a little bit, so it was pretty chill.
Well, for people that also don't know, which I don't know if I can say this or not, but your wife's father doesn't speak any English. Did you make any new leeway with him while you were out and about?
No, but I did make new leeway with her aunt's her uncle, I guess, by marriage. I did win over the crowd briefly, and the dad was there, and I think he understood me because we went over to their house.
I like to imagine he's like a deaf guy who's watching people's reactions to this, but he can't talk because he's deaf, so he's like mute. He's like looking around. That's my daughter.
No, honestly, the family dynamic over there is like weird, man. It's not. Fuck me, this piece is fucking hot. Fucking claw for my fucking CPAP.
Yeah. Hold on a second. You hear like that machine turn on. Oh, that's better.
We went over to her uncle's house, and the Women's World Cup was on, and it was England versus Colombia, and all of them, being the evil Europeans that they are, were rooting for Colombia. So
why? Because they don't like England.
Yeah, because like no one likes England. So anyway, like
I don't know. I don't know if you saw the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that like when they would get close, I would see the uncle, this like kind of portly, like old Finnish man, like side-eyeing me, like and he was wearing this t-shirt that had like a Finnish soldier from World War II on it, and it said Swami, which is what Finns call themselves, and he's just there.
I thought you were gonna say it's a no fat chicks.
And he's there, and like Colombia scores a goal, and they're like, yeah, like cheering, and then he turns to me and he puts his hand over his mouth, almost like a coy little girl who's done something naughty. He's like looking at me, and I went
just eating nothing but like a ball of like salt and honey. He's like suckling on it.
Well, no,
he turns into a literal bee and flies away.
This was my moment to win them over, and I went, women's football, as if I'm not affected because this doesn't count. And they found that very humorous. Those old Finnish men were like, and then I got them on the rebound.
Gorging more salt and sugar.
I got them on the rebound when England scores, and I was like, yeah, women's football. And they're like that too. So I think I made some progress. Started swinging from the ceiling with their oversized orangutan arms.
Well, actually, I was going to say, there was something very applicable I saw in the news. You brought up that soccer game, and I thought of this was I saw the New York Post or like some like, it might not have been that. I don't know. But I saw on Twitter, Lord of the Rings was trending, and I was wondering why. And I guess it was because on an international flight, every single person was watching the soccer game, the England versus Colombia soccer game, except for one guy who was watching Lord of the Rings on the flight. And they were like blasting him. Man caught watching Lord of the Rings movie while everyone else. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Let them watch Lord. Like, what?
Well, honestly, are you going to choose to watch fucking women's football over the greatest cinematic masterpiece of all time?
I can tell you also, here's the thing too. If there's a good movie that's like 3 hours long, that's the perfect airplane movie, especially if it's a fucking trilogy. That's your whole flight. I'm guessing if you're doing international travel, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you not? Why would you not do that? Makes the time go by way quicker.
No, we have to watch women play subpar sports.
We have to watch.
Why was that game a big deal?
It's the women's world championship.
Yeah, so basically it's not done. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you ever see Hunter? You ever see that movie? What was it called? It's like these English guys go into the woods in some Norwegian country.
Norbit,
The Ritual. No, The Ritual.
Oh yeah,
on Netflix. Yeah, that crazy guttural Viking screaming they hear in the cabin.
Yeah, I'd be that. Sorry, the Norbit thing got me really good. I actually haven't seen Norbit for probably 20 years, so that got me pretty good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What is Norbit? Norbit?
It's a cinematic masterpiece.
It was that one Eddie Murphy movie where he plays another fat black woman, except he's like a nerd who's married to like this obnoxious fat black woman, and his name's Norbit. It was really bad. But I don't know. It's whatever. But The Ritual.
He got to do 2 movies like that. He did Nutty Professor and
I feel like if you kind of conquer that landscape, I feel like you're the only person that could do it. You know what I mean? Like if Kevin Hart did it, they'd be like, "Oh, what is he like? His Eddie Murphy face?" You know what I mean? You kind of get typecasted. I feel like into that.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's done
Who do you think
nothing.
would win?
Sorry, go ahead, Don.
Medea or Norbit?
I would say Medea is better, but that's just because Medea's a girl boss.
Okay, why is she a girl boss? I'm not familiar.
Because she doesn't take no shit from no one. She's also a 6'5" tall man.
That sounds like Norbit as well, though.
No. Norbit. I think Eddie Murphy's like 5'6", and he's a nerd.
Well, I mean, his wife that he also plays.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, she's just morbidly obese. That's the joke, and she's like ratchet. I would much rather be around Medea.
Eddie Murphy had a really funny bit about gay people. I'm going to repeat word for word.
Okay.
I'm not really. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the impression too.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be really cute if you did that.
No, that was an ironic me knowing that I shouldn't do what I said I was going to do and choosing not to do it. I was self-aware.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. They do all love to sit naked in saunas. Like everywhere you go, there is a fucking sauna everywhere.
I feel like that's probably right. I've been around a lot of saunas actually as of late. Within the last 5 years of my life, I've been around a lot of saunas and a lot of naked men.
They're great, but you don't want to sit in a sauna staring at your wife's brother's hog as he flops it around.
Was it pretty big?
More heat? It was apish.
So it was huge. Huge and hairy?
Yeah, but all of it was like wispy blonde hair.
That's awesome. So it's a big like fucking like bluish purple fucking swollen cock with blonde hair.
Yeah, it looks dark elf vibes.
Looks like Andy Dick's like swollen carcass just right there in front of you. But here's the biggest thing. What I was wondering is that they all have big old dicks on them. Were you insecure about yours to where you knew that like, oh, her brother's going to be talking in Finnish about my small little pee-pee.
He's going to be like, pointing and laughing in his ape-like manner. Start slapping at it.
But then you start seeing them all speaking gibberish fucking Finnish gobbledygook to your wife and she starts getting embarrassed and stuff, and then she's crying, and they think you know why. Did that happen at all?
No, because
Did you get your dick out?
obviously I got the fucking pale
You
slug
have to.
out.
You can't be the foreign guy who doesn't adapt to the culture.
Yeah,
No, I'm
Yeah,
okay.
good
Yeah,
for
that's like a Ben Stiller fish out of water situation.
Yeah, I would have been Ben Stiller. There's no way I'm getting my dick out next to my wife's brother.
My dick looks like the mouth of
Anyone.
Sauron. They bring it back to Lord of the Rings. Same texture,
Your
same
dick
color.
looks like the mouse. Yeah, as teeth.
Yep. Talk sideways.
Yeah, you got your mouth teeth all Americanized, but your cock teeth are still very
British.
jagged and yellow. Yeah. Every time it comes out, it's like, hello.
Hello. Don't suppose you could spare me some of that CPAP, could you? Awful oxygen supply down here.
Yeah, but you have a tiny one for your cock too.
Yeah, it was a cultural experience. What a time! What a great time! And now I'm back in the motherland, so that's fun.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is did it feel good to step on your homegrown soil again?
Well, first I had to get out of London, but yes, as soon as that happened.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I'm just fucking around. I don't know. It looks very alien. I had some big, giant, fucking skinhead Polish Uber driver in a tiny car, like bombing it down these back alley. Dude, the fucking roads in England are savage. I forgot they're so tiny, and people bomb down them. They're 2-lane roads, and they are like tiny, tiny.
I've seen YouTube videos of that shit, and it makes me so anxious looking at people
this
going
guy,
going like 50 miles an hour down these fucking like roads with like tall grass where you can't even see anything. It's like a 1-lane road.
It was so funny because like when he picked us up, he was very polite, despite being like tatted to the. I'm pretty sure he was a Nazi, tatted to the fucking gills, like very polite. And then as soon as he gets into his car, it was like somebody switched, and he was just like fucking beep beep beep, like swerving in and out of lanes, like bombing it down. Like screaming. And then as soon as we get at the destination, he's like, "Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the ride in the car." I'm like, dude, I'm ready to get into a goddamn bed and relax because that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Just takes everything out of you, having your fucking asshole clenched from the city out to the wherever the fuck you had to go. How long was the ride from London to wherever you have to go? How far away is it? Is it pretty far?
It was a few hours.
Oh, damn. And the guy drove you that far?
Yeah, Ubered me all the way.
That's a long time.
Bro, those poles are built different.
Damn, so is it just a cab or is it still like an Uber situation?
No, it was Uber.
Damn, and they'll drive 2 hours. That's insane.
Yep.
These fucking roads converge on like single lane little fairy tale bridges too.
Yeah,
it's like a little like cobble arch thing that you can't see the other side of. And yeah, people just come flying. I don't know. I guess it's just like a probability thing. Like you get there first and you go over it quick enough, you're not going to smash into someone at the top of it.
It's all a big game of chicken at the end of the day.
It does feel like that. I wonder how many wrecks happen on these back roads. I also wonder how much like people just don't. Well, because isn't that the thing? Well, I guess the farther you don't live in the city, probably the more likely you have a car. But a lot of like other like there's some like British YouTubers that I watch sometimes, and I don't like a lot of them just take public transportation. Like even if they live all the like out of the fucking out of the city, they all just take public transportation still. Like I don't think owning a car is still that relevant, is it?
It depends. But yeah, you can get by to an extent. It really depends where you live, but a lot of people don't have cars.
Yeah.
Well, you're such
an eccentric alien, dude.
Yeah, aren't I crazy being from England? I will say, like, what was interesting is like the fauna. It feels very alien. Like you can see it in the rocks and the trees and the leaves and the plants. Like everything is like different. It's crazy. Like I lived there my whole life, and then it just took 4 years for me to be like become an American. Like I see all the shit, all the houses and how they are, and the castles and like everything. I'm like, oh, that's charming. It's fun. This place isn't real. But obviously, I grew up around it, so it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would take that kind of cultural shift to really be able to like see that shit in a new light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want one day you should both come along to sunny old England, check it out.
I would like to. I will
say though, the people are fucking, good God, horrific.
Just nasty deal.
Disgusting.
That's the biggest shame. One of the biggest things ever. I wish I could go back in time. Is that whenever America was being formed, we didn't have just a bunch of fucking fugly, outcast British people come over here. I wish we had some of the cool Finnish people, some Swedish people, some of the genetics. Now we're all everybody's genetics here is everybody's like 5'8", tiny dicks, obese as hell. I mean, it's just we need a different stock, but it is what it is.
You guys did get a bunch of Scandies. They just all went to like Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh, the Midwest is rife with them. Rife.
Yeah, that's why they all went.
Anybody who's from the coast, like East Coast, you probably are, but everybody on the West Coast, I don't ever believe that anyone's actually from there. It's like somebody moved from a different spot and relocated there, and they've set up shop, but it doesn't have the same kind of like roots vibe as like the East Coast does.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Who knows? Who fucking cares, dude? Who fucking cares?
What's been going on with you, Hunter? You went to Expo?
Yeah, I went to Anime Matsuri in Houston. Had to go to Houston. Was not stoked about that. Houston right now, it was just as hot as Phoenix, except it had humidity. So I just wanted to kill myself the entire time. It was so hot. It was so hot. And didn't care for it. Really, everybody I met, if I met you, if you're listening to this now, because we did have a couple of Cream Crew people come up and say, love the podcast. So thank you for that. But everybody I met was really nice, very conversational, very cool. And there was really only 2 bad eggs.
Of the whole situation. Guess which ones we want to hear about?
No. Probably the bad eggs.
You got me.
So the first person that I experienced that was bad was at the end of this panel I did, everybody kind of comes up to the stage and says like, hi to you, blah, blah, blah. And one of the girls amongst the whole crowd says, when you see Sam tomorrow, tell him I said he's a fucking, and then she says the F word. That's a derogatory word, really loud. I mean it. When you see Sam, tell him he's a fucking
When you see
in a huge group, it doesn't, just some guy. I don't even know who the fuck she was talking about.
Oh, not talking to you. Okay, it's confusing.
Yeah, very confusing. So at first I thought she was calling me that, and I was like, oh, okay. But then it was like talking about somebody else, but it was like amongst this whole group of people. So it was just one of these things where it's like cringy edgelord person, blah, 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 in like a group of people that just is like autistic enough to not realize like social cues, which perfectly goes into the second guy who comes up and he has all this bundled up trash in his hands, like empty bottles. And he comes up and he asks how much, because I'm selling those pack of cards that I was selling. And I was selling them for $30 for the whole collection, whatever, or like the actual pack. And he lifts it up and he's holding it up to his face and he's like looking at it and he's like maybe like an inch away from his eyes. And he's like, how much is this? And I was like, oh, it's $30. And he just like drops it from where he's holding it up to his eyes, just on the table, and it just smacks down. All of his trash is on the table with all the bottles and stuff. And he does, yeah, that Nikocado video you did was kind of okay. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And he puts his head all the way down to where I see the top of his head. And he quickly lifts up and points and he does, it's your fault. It's your fault. Like that, which is like a Nikocado saying. And he's like doing a Nikocado impression for like 3 minutes in line, which is like an eternity. You know what I mean? So he's doing this deal and he's pointing and he's doing all this shit. And then he's just like, well, okay, I guess I'll just get a picture. And I was like, okay. And we took the picture and he just like, he walked off and just didn't say like bye or anything. He left all of his trash on the table. And I turned to your brother, Don, because Justin came out. I turned to him and I was like, what a fucking nightmare is what I said. So those are like really the only 2 things that happened. It wasn't anything too crazy, but it was still like, if I had to put down, if I had to like label anything.
I don't get the woman one. Was she just saying that in the vicinity of your panel, or was she saying it towards you, or?
She was like pointing up at me as like saying like, hey, when you see this person who I'm assuming is somebody that she knows, she's like, tell him he's that deal. But it's like, I don't know who that is. So it's like, why would you even say that?
Every next person in the queue, you're like, hey, are you Sam?
Are you Sam?
Are you Sam?
Are you Sam? Or are you Sam? But then it was like, there was like, I don't know, 50 people like in a little group around the table. So it's like everybody's just uncomfortable because it's all obviously also just like a bunch of other autistic anime people who are like, I thought we weren't supposed to say that.
I kind of like that she, had the balls to say it. That's a woman who sticks by her guns. She'd follow you into hell.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, was she hot, dude?
Yeah, how hot was she?
Was she hot?
I'm not going to speculate on
Oh my God, she was hot
come
too.
on.
Holy shit.
No. I will tell you later why I can't speculate on it, but I will refuse to speculate on it now. Yeah. But yeah, no. It was a long week. I was gone a lot, so I apologize for having to miss the recording. It's just kind of it was the perfect storm of bullshit for everybody, I feel like.
How is your mom's pussy?
It's good. I imagine. I hope it's good. I haven't heard anything bad.
No. Did you watch the Q&A?
I didn't listen to the premium. No.
Oh, okay. Well, we revealed your mother's terrible condition, so I'm sorry if we weren't supposed to do that.
No, that's public knowledge.
Yeah, very, very public.
Yeah.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows about that.
That's absolutely true. You're not wrong.
So you're all done traveling then? You're back in the nest.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to travel for the rest of this year, I have two things. Which one, I'll be in Austin again in October for the F1 race. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
But also in September, I'm taking a week-long vacation for myself. I'm leaving everybody behind, and I'm turning off my phone for a week. I'm very excited.
I will see. That sounds like good, but I also wonder if we'll ever hear from you. Will the phone ever go back on?
Yeah. Did you kind of worry?
Oh, once I leave?
Yeah. Once you leave and you turn that phone off, there's
back?
No guarantee that phone ever comes back on.
No, the phone will definitely come back on.
I leave hundreds of voicemail messages just every
Hello?
Hey, just me again. I hope you're okay out there.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I'm just gonna go to Vegas by myself.
Uh-oh. Is your wife worried?
No.
No? Okay. Well, you kind of.
I don't think she has to be. You know what I plan on doing in Vegas? What? Is I plan on going to a craps table, and I plan on being on a craps table for like 5 hours and getting pissed drunk and spending an inordinate amount of money.
Have you set yourself a budget, or are you just going until the feeling stops that you want to keep playing?
No, I have a budget set in mind that I won't go over, but I have broken it down into days or whatever. But who knows? Maybe I'll win big. We know that's not going to happen.
That seems like fun. That's the thing I never really understood about gambling is it's like, how often do you win to the point where you want to come back and keep doing it? Because obviously the odds are stacked against you.
One is I never lose enough to where it's like it hurts me, and I never win enough to where I really actually gain anything. So to me, it's the whole thing about craps and like blackjack. If you have a good table, I love talking with people. I like talking with strangers. I like talking with the eccentric old people that are there. It's very fun for me. So part of me is like, it's the thrill of getting a little extra money in your pocket while also being able to like meet new people and talk about shit and just like bullshit around with people who are like want to just chain smoke cigarettes and fucking drink cocktails.
When you were like hanging out with Chuck Liddell last time you were in Vegas.
Yeah. I got dinner with Chuck.
Why?
He was just there. I don't know. He's there. He's there. He's like a very like brittle, large man. You could tell he was like kind of like stiff.
Will you join me fighting and Miranda at the table?
No. It was with this one company he was with, and it was like also with like Donut Operator and like Brandon Herrera and those guys. And we just got like a dinner. It was right before SHOT Show. So it was lunch. We got lunch, and then we went into SHOT Show, which is that giant gun show.
So you just like wine and dine with like UFC legends. That's cool. You know, if you
he's a good man.
Ever want to invite any of your friends who happen to really like UFC to anything like that, feel free. That's fine.
Well, one, I didn't know that he was going to be there.
They're like, Hunter, we have a big surprise for you. You are not going to believe who's coming.
Huge. I remember I saw it. The first thing I thought I was like, I know that guy. So I thought. I'm also not a huge UFC guy either, though. So I think that a lot of people would have freaked out. But he was just a nice guy. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Just a really, really, really nice guy.
He didn't try and armbar you.
No, but I did get the vibe that if he wanted to, he could like rip my spine out of it, out of my skin, like scorpion style.
I always feel like guys like that probably, and I'm probably totally wrong, but my assumption is that they're always trying to prove to people they still got it. Like, I may be old and slow, but I've still got it. Except not with words.
He just talked about. I don't know. I didn't get that vibe at all. We just talked about.
Boring.
We talked about guns that he was stoked about seeing, or that we were like stoked about seeing, and then we talked about fishing. That was it. It was great. It was like just a very like down to earth, nice conversation. It was really cool.
Okay, well that didn't.
And then I did get to look at him play on his phone like an old man. Like he did have very like old man like. He was like the thing where you like squint and then you like really poke your screen really hard.
Yeah,
hunt and peck.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. It's very much that. And I was like, that's interesting.
A man's so capable, still reduced to hunt and peck.
Man, they're reduced. I don't know what it is about old people. Like, I got it. I don't have that information, but I'm going to say yes. I will say yes because that's awesome. If he was doing Hunt and Peck doing Candy Crush, that is like a fucking legend. A man who has like broken people's arms and like fought in an octagon. And I was like, hey, they always give me blue ones when I can't find a blue. It's weird. I can't find a blue crystal here.
It's got to be weird. I don't know what the fuck you do after you like the UFC or whatever, after you retire. You're like,
what do you
35.
do after anything?
Yeah, but you're 35 and your whole thing has been like violence.
You might be retired. You might be retired in 5 years.
I'm not a UFC fighter, so I think I won't be.
You don't know. Who knows? What if you make it big, dude? What would be your retirement money? Like, what would be a limit?
I think when you retire,
and I'm saying that there would be, and I do think there would be a limit for you guys. I know that you're artiste, but I do think there would be somewhere you're just like, I don't have to fucking do anything. You know what I mean?
I think when you retire, you start dying. So I don't know.
That is what they say.
I legit, like, I think if you, obviously, like, if you're 35, it's not the same, but, like, if you're, like,
well, yeah, 60, they say that, like, what is it? Yeah, if you're, like, in your 60s or something like that, you start to decay. All the bad shit starts happening.
Yeah.
So you just need something to do with your brain, or it stops, calcifies, rots.
So Don is
I could see
Don.
I could see you being a preacher like your dad.
Something. Nah, I don't think I'd do it.
I could see it.
You don't think you could do it?
No, I don't think I couldn't do it. I just don't think I would do it. I think I'd go the teacher route.
I could see you being an animation teacher.
Oh, would you be? Yeah. Would you be like the teacher that snaps the bra straps of the girls?
Day.
You're like, huh? Sorry. Would you be the?
Yeah, make one comment and get fired.
You snap in bra straps, and you're like, hey, well, you made some
the
good
problem
favors.
with Don is that he would try being funny and being like, this is an example of how to do this, whatever. And it's like a joke about like a trans person or something. And then he just gets fucking ostracized and his career's ruined immediately. Is how I see it.
Have you considered that with our back catalogue of work, no one would ever let you become a teacher?
No. I think that if you did that, I think that it would be one of the things
it was a long
before.
time ago thing.
Yeah, exactly.
My nephew got his account blocked at school because he's told them that I was his uncle. And they thought he was lying and watching shit he shouldn't be at school, so they just fucking like perma-banned his school account.
I feel like the full story isn't really there.
Well, that's what I've been told. That's what came down the grapevine.
Especially he probably like pushed every single button you probably could, and he probably showed all the worst moments out of everything. He's like, hey, see, it's my uncle. That's what he said like that. And he's trying to like riz on a girl. She rejects him. He's like, that's okay. I got my uncle.
He got violent with her. You know who my uncle is.
Grabs her wrist and won't let her leave. You watch this cartoon of my uncle.
And you get wet immediately. Oh, there's going to be trouble. There's going to be repercussions. Yeah, well, that could be what happened, but it was a whole thing. Yeah, my sister had to get involved.
It had nothing to do with the uncle. It just his actions are so abhorrent and violent.
Yeah, the permanent grip marks he left on that little girl's wrist.
Yeah. He's like, I can't believe I got my account blocked because my uncle is Flash Kids Tom. All these women and men in the school with like black eyes and fucking bruised wrists. I can't believe it, Tom. You got me blocked.
He's not allowed within 20 feet of the women's bathroom.
The back of his hand
from the door and just drag him in.
The back of his hand and his knuckles are just swollen. I can't believe it. You got me blocked, Tommy.
What happened to freedom of speech? How about Magna Carta? This is right bullshit. My Uncle Tom told me about this. He said this would happen.
That's it. I'm moving to the States. I'm going to become a Yank.
Yep. Basically.
How old is
he? But you know what? He has to be 17.
16.
Okay.
It's not the nephew that it's not the oldest nephew that you've met. It's
the one that came over.
The one. No, it's not him. It's the one after him.
Oh, I thought you were talking about him.
Nope.
Okay, well, I don't know your other nephew, so I don't know what his lightness is with that.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's more like introverted and I guess ape-like in his grabbing of little girls' wrists.
Yeah, so when he grabs women, it's just he does it in silence, but he doesn't have the vocalization.
And he will not let go.
Yeah,
he stares at the ground.
He doesn't have the vocalization skills to be like, "This is why I'm having you here." He just like latches on. He's just like, "Stop!"
He's just got a fucking. He's got the Flash Gits playlist playing on loop on his Samsung J3.
Yeah. Flash Git. That's his text. That's his text. That's his text ringer. The Flash Git. So the girl's like, they're like screaming, and he's like, "Stab me, stab me," and then there's
blood is just rushing to his head.
Yeah, he's holding his breath. The only time they ever get to leave is the only time the women ever get let go is because he holds his breath and he blacks out. He falls down.
Just smashes his head. His head looks like a mushroom from Last of Us because it's been hit so many times. Scar tissue.
What's wrong with him? He keeps holding his breath and blacking out on like fucking marble floors.
Oh, it's all right.
It's all right,
boys will be boys.
That's
all right. My uncle's like she's dumb. It is none of my. It's been what was cool is like the only people who know of coming back is my parents. So as of recording, the only other people I've met are my nephews, and I fucking surprised the shit out of them, and that was sweet. And then my siblings don't even know I'm here yet, but they will by the time this episode goes out. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Are you gonna see any of your buddies?
Yeah, I'll go. I've got my fucking like visa interview tomorrow, so I'm in London, so I'll see Jenkins, and I'm gonna meet his kid and all that. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll have to be sure and check that out. That'd be cool. It was a nice little time off, but I'm glad to be back. I think our viewers are going to be happy to have another new episode of Cream Crew. I know that their bellies are probably, their diabetic little bellies are needing the sugar of our sweet, sweet ice cream, is what I'd have to say.
It is true. The Patreon's looking healthier and healthier by the day.
Probably because now, Tom, it's probably because the bonus content you get on there when you sign up is absolutely amazing. And if you go to patreon.com/creamcrew, you can get weekly bonus episodes, baby. And there's a backlog building. So if you're looking for extra cream, because you know how many times I see in comments, people be like, "Hey, I've watched these twice now because I can't wait for new episodes and I got caught up on them." Now you got extra episodes, baby.
And just a little more fucking syrup on that ice cream for you. If you go and listen to the latest one that's up, it's a Q&A episode 10, you will find out how often, how many times a year Don goes down on his girlfriend. That is a promise. So if you want info...
Actually, I might unironically listen to the episode just to hear.
Exactly.
I have a sneaking suspicion it's 0.
Well, you have to go to Patreon to find out, bud.
0. I'm going to have to. Yeah. The only time I think that he plays with his girlfriend's pussy is whenever he's sniffing around between her thighs and he accidentally bumps into it with his big schnoz. He does a little oops.
And she immediately puts her legs around his head and holds him there.
He's like,
fly.
He says, no.
You know what I do then?
What's that?
What do you do?
I answer the phone and I shrimp out of that triangle and then I put her in a guillotine.
Oh, God.
Yeah, choke her out. Time to go night. Is what you say like that. And she's like,
have you?
but so she doesn't die, you put a CPAP machine on her.
Have you been doing an extra amount of MMA or something since I left? Because I feel like that was like a hard pivot.
No, I'm not trying to pivot. I did buy mats, and I am going to practice choking her, though. That is going to happen.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew there was a reason for that setup.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion. I have a sneaking suspicion.
What I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to ask you guys, have you watched Down for Love?
Wow,
no, I
already
haven't,
know
but my wife did tell me about it.
You are going to have to hear about it on the bonus episode, though, because
on the bonus episode, we'll talk about the Down Syndrome Love Show.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's Patreon.com.
A little sequel to what's the autism one again?
Yeah, Love on the Spectrum. Yeah.
Which I know talked about that like 30 episodes ago. So
it does feel the Down with Love. Just once again, what an offensive title. I think it's funny, but that's like I cannot believe that actually went through.
It's a little insane. And then they have the kids saying, "I'm down for love. I'm down for love." Yeah.
What's even weird is that they're like fucking parading around these people. Like they were, I mean, like, I don't know, man.
Well, it's like, it's a weird thing where
we
don't want to give away the $5 of content
now. That's true.
Yeah.
Everything else that comes out this beautiful little mouths of ours, that costs $5 a month. Zip it or zip it. And let's do it to it. That's my deal.
Yeah, zip it and let's do it to it, boys. It's been real.
Right, bye, guys.
Patreon.
See you on Patreon. Bye-bye.